we are getting close to the end of the section. This will be the last one where we have to actually solve equations. For some of you, that's really good news. And for the rest of you, me, is bad news. So we are going to be working on inequalities. And what an inequality means on this top equation is, first of all, you want the bigger number will always be eaten by the alligator mouth. Okay? So it's trying to eat the x, which means the x is the bigger number. And so any number bigger than 3 will satisfy this equation. So what we do is we go down and we make a circle on the 3, and we want the bigger numbers because the x's are getting eaten. So we're going to shade to the right. So that means any number that we put in there, like if we put in a 10, 10 is bigger than 3, so it's true. You know, any number to the right. The other thing to remember here is that this is a closed circle because it means greater than or less than and equal to. And this one is an open circle. So for our example, 3 is not greater than 3. So this is a false statement. So ours will be an open circle here, and it's closed if you have the line underneath it. So same idea down here. We're going to make our circle at -2. It's an open circle because there's no line underneath it. And the question is, which are bigger, the x's or the -2's? In this case, the -2 is bigger, so that makes the x's smaller. So we're going to shade to the left. Okay. I want you to try the shading on your own. So for the top, we're going to make a closed circle because we have the equal to underneath it, and the 2's are bigger, so we're going to shade left. For this one, we're going to go to -3, and we're going to make because the x's are smaller once again, we're going to shade left again. Okay. And that matters for our equations on what we've been working on. So for here, on this top equation, you could draw the line down the middle just like you did before. But we're going to solve the equation by getting the x by itself by dividing by 2. And so we get x is greater than 4. So now we're going to shade just like we did before. It's an open circle, and we're going to shade to the right. Okay. Here on the bottom, it's the same idea. We're going to add 1 to both sides. We get 2x, the symbol stays, 6 here, and now we divide by 2. So we get x is less than 3. So we make our open circle at 3 because there's no line underneath it, and we're going to shade to the left. Okay, and what that means is if we take a number smaller than 3, and we put it into this equation, like a 0. 0 is a good example. We go 2 times 0 minus 1, and that should be less than 5. Well, 0 minus 1 is -1. -1 is less than 5. So that's why we're shading everything to the left of 3. Okay? There is one huge difference between what we did before and inequalities. And I'll show you. In this problem, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So we get -2x is less than 2. And now we're going to divide by a -2, and this is the big difference. If you ever divide or multiply, notice it is not add or subtract, divide or multiply by a negative number, you flip the sign. So in this case, we divided by a negative number, therefore, the sign in the middle will flip. 2 divided by -2 is a -1. So now we go here. It is an open circle, and we're going to, because the x's are bigger, we're going to shade to the right. If we didn't flip the sign, we would have been going in the wrong direction. Okay? So that's the only difference with what we did and what we're doing now. So try these two on your own. One of them you do have to flip the sign. So for the first one here, subtract 8. So we get negative 2x is less than 6. Now here's where I divide by a negative, so I have to flip the sign. X is greater than negative 3. Open circle, and I'll shade to the right. On the bottom, I subtract 1. So I get 3x is less than or equal to 6. I divide by 3, but it's positive, so I don't have to flip. X is less than or equal to 2. Here it's a closed circle because we have the line underneath here, and we're going to shade to the left. And that's it. That's the whole section. All right? If you have questions, please ask me. There will be 2 activities, I think, at least, maybe 3 on this one, so it'll take some time.